Stay tuned and let's take a look at this G.I. Joe classified series, Bazooka. Pow and welcome back to the channel, Dan Who Reviews. As always, my name is Dan W. Make sure you are following me on Instagram at It's Dan Who, and remember now you can hit that join button and become a channel member as well. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at this G.I. Joe classified series, David Al Bazooka Katzenbrogen, I think that's how you say his name, as he turned up much earlier than expected today, as he literally went up for pre-order just over 2 weeks ago during the last G.I. Joe live stream. So the rest of the figures in this wave are not due for months yet, but either or, he is here now, and I think it's because it's basically just a repaint of the recently released Tiger Force Bazooka. So maybe they just told the factory, you know what, run that one again, this time in red, because that iconic red jersey is undoubtedly a fan favourite and will pop on the shelf amongst a lot of the military green. He debuted in 1985 as the missile expert, of course, and as I said, he is one people have been wanting in the classified era. And now we have the era of plastic-free packaging, so we have this unique artwork on the front, a little digital render, his name, etc., another picture on the side, more digital renders on the back with a breakdown of the accessories and his specialist skills. I think you can go on the website and check these out. He is number 62 in the line. There it is again up top. So without further ado, let's get him open. Here we have Bazooka out of packaging with all of his accessories broken down beside him, and again to confirm everything including the figure and accessories are exactly the same as the Tiger Force version, just a different deco. So I'll do some comparisons in a moment. I do want to say though, I like that the Joe team are trying in this new plastic free era, and now that you get all the accessories in these little weapon crates that actually have the character's number and name on. So I do appreciate that gimmick. Another gimmick I appreciate is that you can actually pose the Joes on the shelf holding their accessories, like all equipped up. So let's do exactly that. Let's get all this equipment on Bazooka. And that's what it's all about. There we have Bazooka with all his equipment and weaponry on him, ready for the shelf. I think Joe fans are going to be very happy with this one, because if you compare it to the original figure that came out in 1985, you can see that the Joe team didn't really take any liberties with the character design. It's a very accurate transition into the modern action figure classified era. It's a beautiful tribute that, again, is just very accurate to that original figure with the red iconic jersey. Now, I'm not an American football fan. I'm in the UK, for God's sake, but is that an actual jersey to a team, or is it just like a made-up version? Is the 14 relevant to anything as well? I'm not sure, but for me, it is my mind's eye of Bazooka, because I obviously seen him pop up in the cartoon, and in the cartoon, obviously, he has that red jersey with the 14 on top, and of course, that moustache and the big bazooka, of course. So, yeah, I'm really happy with this, and I think Joe fans will be as well. So before we do some comparisons, let's just take a closer look at this figure for anyone that's interested. So of course he has that glorious mustache, and the helmet is a separate piece that comes off no problem at all, and it sits on the head very flushly as well, so it doesn't look sloppy or out of proportion. It works very nicely. Moving down to the waist here, you've got that cut with the ball joint, so you do get a little bit of tilt and a bit of back and forth. The belt keeps riding up because it is a separate piece, so you do have to keep pushing that down, unfortunately. I do like that the arms are double jointed and pinless, so we have pinless elbows, which makes such a difference when the elbows are actually bare skin as well. So the arms will go up, bicep swivel, double jointed pinless elbows with a really deep butterfly joint as well, which is going to help with some posing with that giant bazooka too. So I like that a lot. On the back, the backpack is a separate piece with a peg, and it plugs into that hole on the back. Those missiles are separate pieces as well. I'll show you in a minute. And there's even a hook down here that you can attach his bazooka to as well. Spin it back round to the front. Obviously is holding his big bazooka that you can actually put the missiles into. There's like a flap at the back that opens up. You can put the missiles in the front or into the back, no problem at all. I'll show you a closer look at that in a minute when I do some comparisons. Moving down to the legs, they do have pins, but again, not a big deal as long as the pins are the same colour, and he does have double jointed knees. He can kick his own butt. You've got boot, swivel, and you've got ankle pivot and rocker with the drop down hips as well, and a thigh cut as well. So the legs will go pretty far forward and pretty far out as well. So yeah, Bazooka has a lot more articulation than he needs, but it will help for posing him up in a more natural position with that giant bazooka. The only sort of letdown we're classified at the minute is the lack of interchangeable hands. Like, he has 2 trigger fingers, which is perfect, it's what we need, but it would be great to have options of like fisted hands or pointing hands, or just a little bit of variety to add a little bit more expression to the shelf and for the posing. But otherwise, everything's really clean. I like how the 14 sort of continues, so as you start articulating him, it doesn't disappear. It's not just a straight up cut, it does sort of move with the design. And yeah, overall, people, no real faults with this figure. I think it's a great representation of that figure we've all been wanting. And here we have the comparison that everybody was waiting for. Here we have our original red jersey Bazooka compared to our Tiger Force white jersey Bazooka. I can only assume this is Bazooka at home and this is Bazooka away, as a home and away jersey, right? That's got to be it, because everything else on this figure is exactly the same sculpt, the same articulation, the same accessories, the same weapons. The only difference between these two figures are the deco hits, the different colours. Everything on this figure is a different shade of deco, even the skin tone. So let them spin around for a second so you can see for yourself. The red jersey Bazooka has a bit more of a tan than the Tiger Force version. Even the Bazookas themselves are a different shade of green. The helmet is red on the Tiger Force compared to the green helmet on the original. The missiles on the original one actually have a little bit of deco on top, which is missing on the Tiger Force version. The boots are a different colour. Obviously, the Tiger Force has the Tiger Force trousers. So yeah, I'm pointing out the obvious here. These are the exact same figure. The only difference is colour. So personal preference, which is your favourite? Let me know in the comments below. Before we compare accessories, just a closer look at the head sculpt without the helmet on, just to reinforce they are exactly the same. As I've mentioned already, the red jersey version just has more of a tan. It is that simple. But if you remember, the Tiger Force version actually has a red helmet. So if you want a red helmet to match the red jersey, you can absolutely do that, because as I said, all the accessories are interchangeable here. You can mix and match and create your own version of Bazooka. And along with the helmet, the other accessories are exactly the same. They both come with a bazooka, a backpack, and then 4 missiles that go into the backpack or into the bazooka themselves, which I'll show you. But as I said, the same, just a darker shade of green on the Tiger Force version, and the missiles are plain, where on the red jersey version, you actually get a little bit of deco on the missiles here. You get a bit of yellow on this one, and then this one actually has a bit of a mouth on it. So a little bit different. The bazooka itself has some nice sculpt work on it, but I wanted to show you that it is hollow at the front, so you can load it up with a missile just like that and have it poking out from the front. And then the back as well has a part that literally can come off or just spin to the side, and you can load it up with a missile as well and store it in the back of the bazooka. And as I said, that's got a little peg hole in it. It spins and you can even drop it out, etc. And as we know already, we are going to get the piece that attaches into this as well with scrap iron, which will be cool for display. And again, this is a fun one to pose up. You have the up and down trigger finger hands as well that fit in no problem at all. And I like how the hinges up and down. It helps with posing for sure. And just overall really nice. You can have someone standing behind him actually like loading up the bazooka from the back as well, which is a nice touch for a display, or as I said, ACBA pictures, etc, etc. But yeah, I really like this one. And again, you have your display options, because if you don't want him holding the bazooka, of course, you can just have it over his shoulder with the strap, or you can literally plug it on to the back of his backpack like so, and you can just have it dangling off the backpack for his mission. Jumping into comparisons now, going all the way back to Wave 1, as we have Bazooka here, looking big and chunky compared to Scarlet and Duke, who I think we desperately need upgrades for. This was back when the designs were based on the game, and I definitely think we are worthy of more classic-inspired looks for Scarlet and Duke, especially Scarlet in her yellow one piece. At least I do anyway. And he may not be in his Tiger Force colours anymore, but here we have his Tiger Force companions with Outback and Rakondo. Here we have someone who can match him for heft, as we have Roadblock and Stalker. Moving over to the Cobra ranks with some bad guys. So here we have Destro and Baroness. Here we have Zartan and Zartana. Couple of bad guy army builders, starting off with one of my favourites, the Bats. Then of course some generic Cobra infantry. For those curious how he scales with Valorverse Action Force, here we have Condor and Steel Brigade. And it wouldn't be Dan Who Reviews if we didn't have some Marvel Legends and have the Who crew. So here we have Frogman, Tigra and White Rabbit. And then last but absolutely never least, here we have Captain Britain and Hal, Fire Hank. So, final thoughts on this G.I. Joe classified series, Bazooka. I think people are going to be very happy to finally have the iconic red jersey, which is a beautiful tribute, a sort of accurate evolution of the character design into the modern classified era. I genuinely can't pick fault with it. Really like this figure. Just adding more options to the G.I. Joe display. And as I always say, I would love to review more G.I. Joes on the channel. Honestly, it's just time. If I had more time, I would, because I do love this line. Really looking forward to what the year's got ahead with all the reveals already announced, and of course we've got a Hiss tank on the way, so I'm very excited. So please, if you like G.I. Joe, make sure you stick around on the channel, as I do have a dedicated live stream called Joe's and Juice, where we always recap the Joe news after live streams and reveals, etc. So stick around on the channel, and one way to do that is checking out the videos tab, find the playlists, and please hit that subscribe button. Much appreciated. Hit all on the notification bell. Don't miss out on a video. And please hit that join button. Become a channel member. Either show some love or join the members club. Much appreciated. Until then, you can follow me on Instagram at It's Dan Who. And I'm on Twitter as well. Don't be shy. Tweet me at Dan Who Reviews. I am Dan W. And I will, of course, see you on the next one.